Hey, good morning. Rough last 48 hours. We get to the show before or two before we go back to the hospital. Hopefully today or tomorrow, Bob can come home. I am grading the AM to the Southern Fried Patriot morning show. It's Friday, very early Friday here on the East Coast, 5:05 Eastern Standard Time to be exact. Yeah, been a rough last couple of days, from going out to eat, thinking of the next show, to ambulance and wife in hospital, ICU, and all those things going on. But the good news is she's on the mend, getting some help. She's resting this morning. We'll be seeing her as soon as we drop the kiddos off to school. Hopefully today will be even better news. Been getting better. She's getting the help she needs. But good morning to you. Good morning to you. Southern Fried Patriot Morning Show, Southern Fried Podcast, and the Cornbread Nation. Yes, thank the Lord for another day around the sun. Lots of interesting things going on I have not had time to comment on. And then looking forward into the weekend and some of the weekend programming that we will have available. We have a new pope. It's been on the I was watching the news as those things were occurring. I've seen the news of the white puff of smoke. Leo, Pope Leo. I'm not a Catholic, but it is news, and it does have ramifications across the globe. Over 1 billion Catholics around the globe. It is news, newsworthy. World leaders will entertain Pope, and millions will flock to Vatican City and already have for funerals, conclave, and the presentation of Pope Leo. A registered Republican from USA, who was not the expected favorite by many, although there were at least one who predicted his rise to Pope. He seems to, again, it's not going to meet everybody's expectation. Nobody does. But he seems to will bring the church back center. There's some things about him that will be hot button issues that they always are, whether it's on abortion, gender, or environmental issues. He is not the controversial figure that the previous Pope was. He has some very definitive ideas on things. He's pro-life, as you would expect a Pope to be. Always, as he says. He is, however, a strong environmentalist. So we'll see how he centers the church. He is against the creation of new genders, says that is not accurate. There is no making up of gender. So he will be controversial to some as he makes those stands. These are previous stands. We don't have yet speeches by him, but we have his history of where he stood on these matters. Definitely very much more center than was the previous Pope. So we will see. He has also been a critic of the president, Donald J. Trump. But again, that's his business and the church's business. He should be around a while, none of us know how long our days will be. He's younger, so this should take us into quite a long while of leading the church as these next bumpy days ahead, things around the world. Vladimir Putin of Russia has already reached out. So we will see. President Trump, by the way, is trying to get, once again, a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. This has not been very easy for him. Remember, he said some big things, very difficult between these two. He wants a 30-day Ukraine truce. We'll see where he gets with this. I don't think Zelensky's going to be able to. I just don't think there's going to be a 30-day truce between these two. So we'll see. He's threatening more sanctions on them if they do not. It's not worked before, but don't think this will work this time. You have to have somebody that's willing to back off of where they've stood, and nobody likes to look like the weaker one. And we don't know really what Putin's overall plan was anyway. We have theories. Russia has said that they would take a 3-day ceasefire to coincide with the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. But he has not shown any action toward that in previous ceasefires. Each side has been guilty of violating any ceasefire that is out there. It's really become a millstone around the president's neck as he tries to not only get minerals, get peace in the region. Not the easy thing. But again, that's not saying that's his fault, although he said probably could have stopped it from happening, maybe. Now that that can is open, really hard to get it back in, everything back in the can, put the lid on. Active, ongoing military actions from both sides, be it drones, missiles, artillery, hand-to-hand fighting over spots of ground. Still working to get all the troops out of Russia that incurred there. There are some agreements that have been in place loosely. Zelensky, for his part, says he's ready for a 30-day truce. I just don't know how long it's going to hold on without a lot more infusion of weapons and men. But nobody wants to look weak here. This thing's been dragging on for a long time. There's a lot of dead and wounded. There's a lot to answer for on both sides about this. Maybe the president can get a ceasefire in place. It would be nice. It's always nice to stop hostilities, cessation of killing. It's also not an easy thing to do. This one issue may go a long way in determining the 4 years that President Trump will be in office. If he can't get this in place, it's going to hang around. He'll accomplish as many other things. It's going to hang around if he cannot get an agreement here. He campaigned on this. He could stop it. So, again, that's not a knock. It's just saying that it's not an easy thing to do. You have two people that the hatred in this region is off the scale. It's not anything that just started in this war. This goes back millennia. This is a lot of hatred. There's a lot of hatred of what is going on and what has occurred. Once again, I have said before, I will continue to say it. Where are the kids? Not even being talked about. Minimum of 20,000 children forced removed from Ukraine into Russia, with estimates running as high as over 100,000 kids. Where are these kids at? Only about 400 at last count, could be a little higher than that, have been returned, greatly through the efforts of some organizations and or parents themselves who went inside Russia and found their kids and got them. God bless those parents. In some cases, the parents may be dead. I mean, those were active war zones. Cities that are now destroyed. Kids could have been left, because of death. They were just there. Where are these kids at? These kids, some of them were placed in families. Some of them were placed in homes. But we don't know the whole story. Good morning, Jay. Rob does not do this morning show. It's an early morning show I don't normally do, which is usually Tuesday and Thursday. I missed yesterday because of the sickness of my wife, who is still in the hospital. So I'm just coming in live. Rob will be in the next show. We'll do a follow-up to this. Then I run the kids to school and go see my wife in the hospital. Got to get the kiddos off to school. So Rob is still Betty by. He'll be getting up soon. We'll transition over to the other show, SFP morning show. This is the Patriot morning show. But you're up and early in that central time zone in the great state of Mississippi. God bless you this morning. It's good to hear from you. So anyway, where's the kids? Don't know. It's not even being talked about any ceasefire. This is going to be one that's going to sting, and we're going to, as we hopefully find out information, God bless the kids. They're just not, I'm not saying there's not somebody concerned. Families are concerned. Where's the kids? They've been taken. When are we going to get the kids back? There's organizations that are trying to bring war crimes. They get the evidence of who, what, when, and where. And in some cases, they've done that with the International Criminal Court, the ICC, at The Hague, to bring war crimes against these people for a violation of all rules of war that we have agreed to in the Geneva Convention. You don't do kids this way. But I don't think Russia cares. And again, can they ever get evidence? In some cases, they have. Very small. But God bless those organizations that are doing that. Somebody has to take up concern. What if they were, what if they were 14 or something? They were taken. 3 years in, Russia planned to put a gun in their hand and send them back over, put them in a war zone against their own people? Who knows? Or is it human trafficking? Possibility. Just nobody knows. So this has not even been talked about. So we'll see. I just don't know. Big news yesterday was Trump's tapping of Fox Jeanine Pirro as interim U.S. attorney. She's a bulldog. If she former prosecutor, if she I could see her being very strong in this area. This could be very big, working in that D.C. court. Maybe it's a signal of some things to come, as we're hoping that there are some indictments, which many people thought would already be in place. So we'll see. If talk is monetized, she cashes some big checks. She said some big things from the seat. Let's see what happens as they move forward. I wasn't expecting that one. But that could be good. Could be very good. We'll see. As he continues to get people into place. There are still, there may be, I don't know if it got finalized or not. He was still finalizing his cabinet over 100 days in. There was still some fights over a couple of key personnel. It's amazing how long this has taken. He had originally nominated Ed Martin Jr. for the position, but he withdrew after a senator withdrew his support for Martin because of J6. It's going to be interesting. Good morning, Spartan. How you doing? So he's still getting those people into place. The president moving some people around, continuing to finish up positions that are needed. And that'll be ongoing as some judgeships will be appointed all the way through the 4 years, just the way it goes. It takes a while. A lot of the federal seats, prosecutor, judge, whatever, some of those take a long time. That will continue to be worked on. In fact, some seats never get filled in a term. They may have interims, but there's a lot of fight over this. As is important, as we've seen, how these federal seats, these judge seats, make rulings and can help or hurt an administration, depending on who has tapped them to be in that position. There was at one time where there was a lot of these positions that were open, going way back. There was a delay on some of these. So we'll see where that goes. But it is important. Don't know if they'll do anything. Of course, they're collecting evidence to prosecute New York Attorney General Letitia James over the property deal and how things that she worked at, not for things that went on, but for total different things that she was guilty of or has been accused of. I shouldn't say guilty, but has been accused of doing while in office, profiting herself. Boy, that's as old as original sin, right? So many people using positions and the power of to pad their own pocket, and that be with money, property, whatever. And it will continue to be a problem. There's always that temptation. People that, and if we've ever lived in a time where people make themselves that they're entitled, they feel like they're owed something, and if they use their position, they justify it. It's amazing the reasons that people use to justify breaking the law. This can be on both sides of the aisle. I'm not saying this. This is not just a Democrat issue. It's a human issue. Spartan, I can totally concur with you on that. And again, I've said this. I don't care if it's legitimately how they got rich. If they're rich because of their own business endeavors, yeah, it would be ideal if they did that. And a vow of celibacy. Not going to happen either. What can you imagine if that was a requirement? Like a pope or a priest. Of course, they haven't always followed that either. We know those stories. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I've never been jealous of rich people, as long as they earned it through their own hard work, intelligence, making it happen. I don't have a problem. I mean, that's the greatness. I mean, because I've always looked at it like not that I ever will. I always looked at if you limit that, and it's only a certain people that can, then it takes away a hope that I ever would be, because obviously I wouldn't be connected and I wouldn't have the ability to do that. I've never been jealous of someone's success. In fact, sometimes those successes have helped me. Matter of fact, I mean, I think of the company I work for, whose owner built up the company. They had retired. They sold it. They actually went back into business, same business, in a different name. But we're actually owned by Berkshire Hathaway. Warren Buffett, who is now exit plan in place. but still will be owned by them. Certainly very rich. I'm not jealous of that. You know, I mean, what level do you say you can't be? That's the greatness of America. So you can, through hard work, you can come from poverty to being the richest. There was a great story that I heard. I was listening to 1819 News, a very good conservative news outlet out of the great state of Alabama. I'm a subscriber to their news service, but they had on a gentleman who had came here from, I don't remember if it was Mexico, but I think it was. You know, he came in wrong. Now, hear me out before you throw tomatoes. He came in wrong, but he worked to make it right and became a citizen. His family, I think it was all just, you know, it happened, but he always wanted to be, he's a citizen. Anyway, he started out, I mean, he just worked. He's a worker. And he started cutting lawns. And he built that up, and then he got to where he was employing the crew, and he got a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger, and he actually got he got a hold of some state projects and jobs where they were cutting state properties and stuff. And he now employs, I mean, quite a few people. He's built this company that's out there, you know, putting other people to work and putting money in their pocket. They're getting a paycheck, and they're, you know, they're paying their taxes, and you know, those things are what make America great. And he's a family guy. He's definitely conservative, he's a Christian, and you know, I mean, loves America. He's patriotic. It is an American success story. And he said, I didn't do it right at the beginning. I didn't, but he said, I always wanted to. And he said, you know, he worked to get that corrected. I mean, it was because of how good he had done to make America better. You know, he was able to get some people. I forget the whole story. It was a podcast, and I was able to watch it. It was one of the best things I've ever seen. If one thing I believe in is the power of redemption. I mean, my gosh, we all mess up. We've all broken the law to some degree, whether it was a speeding ticket or whatever. Here was a guy who didn't do things exactly the way he should have done them. And he didn't try to excuse that, by the way. So another thing I admired about him, he said, I broke the law. But after he built everything up, you know, it was something that held him back. I mean, to be able to move on and get bigger, he was going to have to, you know, have everything in order, you know, to have a business license, to have you'll be able to employ people, a tax number, all that stuff. So pardon me, he continued to work and make himself better and legal. And that's not just a Christian thing. I mean, it is a Christian thing to forgive. We certainly are instructed to forgive. Across humanity, we forgive. You know, people forgive, and we should forgive. People attempt to make things right. You know, they pay their debt to society or whatever. Then we forgive. We recognize it, but you know, it's like I said, if someone comes out of jail, in this case, I don't think he ever went to jail, but he certainly had to pay some fines. He had a record. There's some things he had to correct. I forget the whole story, but I just think about that. So, you know, I just love that. I love that kind of story. And if you look at most successful people, you will find that they were major failures at different points in their life, but overcame those failures and became great successes. We fail more than we succeed, but it's through the failures, if we don't let them destroy us, that we become the success. And so most successful people have had things that have held them back. So yes, Spartan, I too have no problem with someone becoming very successful, as long as they're doing it the right way. You know, And and they're representing all men, not just the rich and elite. Not that those people don't deserve representation, they do, but all men. And so uh, I applaud that. So going after Letitia James, got a new pope, still got some campuses where people, it's not protest, it's not protest, it's takeover, it's invasion force. Doesn't matter what their situation, what they're protesting against originally, before they become jackboots that are taking over and hurting people and causing violence. That's not protest. That is criminal actions that must be dealt with. It continues to plague our college campuses across the country. And they must get a handle on that. The president is right to take this on. Again, maybe for what they're originally protesting, the original intent, or it may not. But either way, it does not matter. The right to protest, yes. That does not include a license to take over property, hurt people, and destroy. Those are criminal actions that must be dealt with. Get the ringleaders of it, start putting some stiff penalties for these situations, bring people to justice, and make others behind them think twice about doing it. You have to do that. I mean, the left is okay with Molotov cocktails going into police cars and things like that. They're willing to overlook all that. But now, Spartan, I can't go with that. Can't just shut down schools. That's the rule of law must be followed. You can protest, but this is look. I know across Europe, and they force people out of office and everything, but you can't. You descend into chaos. I know where you're at on this, and I knew that when I said it. I know where you're at on this. I get it, but you must follow the rule of law. I don't care which side this is. I don't care if we were protesting some injustice that the United States was doing. In anything that's going on, you can't just obliterate the rule of law. I'm sorry, bro. I just can't go that way. Maybe, well, we still have to have law, brother, whether you think it's a joke or not. You still have to have rule of law. Mankind left to his own devices will descend into utter chaos. We still have to have rule of law. Work through legal means to get those things changed. If you disagree, with the action or a law or whatever, I get where you're at over there. It's an ugly situation, but we cannot have utter chaos in our country. Are you okay with them just rolling over your home? I mean, that's the same idea here. Well, just because you are standing with them, a lot of times these people, they don't care. They just roll over people. Sometimes, many times, the same people have agreements with them. The same professors at some of these colleges have probably stand with them, but they don't take the time to. They just go on a rampage. I understand Gaza's chaos. I get it. Absolutely. Doesn't mean I want to see our campuses and things taken over here. It's violence. It's violence. And violence breeds violence. Can't do it. We'll have a civil war in our hands if we don't get a handle on this. Just, you can't. I've had this argument with people over many, many different things. And I always say, you know what your problem is with this is these people won't stop. It won't. That's the issue of today. What's the issue of tomorrow? Where do they go with this? Hello, Brodsky Bear. I've been out of the loop, brother, because of my wife's illness, so I have not seen that. And good morning to you. I've kept up a little bit with news, but there's been a lot going on. You're right. I'll agree with you, Spartan. We do have a civil war on our hands. We better get a handle on it. It's got to be stopped. Or I'm telling you. Let me tell you this, Spartan. Let me tell you this. There are Europeans that are in this country who became citizens. And they have told me they are scared to death of what they see. They say it's the same crap that happened in their country before war broke out and a lot of good people died. Their mass graves, all that, the concentration camps. Let me tell you, that's what they tell me. They say, we didn't come to America. We came to get away from that crap. We are scared that we do not want to see their citizens. We do not want to see our country descend into this, and it's got to stop. The rhetoric, that's all that stuff, I can tell you that they are not for it. And they say it's the same things that happened before their countries descended into chaos, death, destruction, rape, murder, mass graves. I'm telling you, man. And if they were sitting in this chair right now, they would tell you, you got to have law. It's got to stop. That's exactly what their message to me. It has to stop. I get it, man. Yeah, that's why I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? It has to stop. You can justify anything with a mob. You can justify anything. Now listen, I've heard people on the right. It's the same rhetoric. I've heard people on the right who are speaking these from a whole nother flow of direction. We disagree on this. Once the mob is released, it's like a bloodletting. It doesn't stop, and we do not want America to become that. The left has certainly encouraged this, and because of that, there's a move from the right to go back towards the left and say payback. Well, it's just a tit for tat. We got to get a handle on this. Let's work through the law. Let's get some people convicted of, if it is war crime, whatever, put them on trial. You can't have that. Can't have that. Okay, I'll look into it. I get it, man. You got strong feelings, and I am not telling you how to think. I'm not. I'm just not going to agree with you. That's the beauty of where we're at. Me and you can have this difference of opinion. We can be passionate about our position. I'm not telling you how to think. I'm saying this is where I'm at. This is the way I see it. So we just have to be careful of that. Because you remember what they said, Minneapolis, we're coming to the suburbs next. It's just a mob. It doesn't matter what they started with. This roll over you. We're coming after you next. It just becomes Jack Booth thuggery after that. It doesn't really matter. Do we really think that all these people that are storming the campuses really give one whit about what's going on over there? If you think that, man, you're wrong. It's just a spark. That's all it is. It's the rebellion. It's to go after the people that are in control. It's a way to steal. It's a way to cause chaos, to tear down. I will guarantee you those people don't know jack about really even what's going on. They're taking news and they're joining actions against, maybe they hate America. Maybe they just want to be a part of something where they can steal and take over and burn down. That's what a mob does. They could care less. These people don't even know what is really happening there. Most of them. And the ones who do will probably mislead those who don't in many ways. These people, the mass mob of these people, you know what they got? They got talking points. They don't know what's going on. They don't have a clue. They're just joining a mob. When those people are come running out of the stores with the big screen TVs on their shoulder, ask them what's really going on. They can't tell you. They'll say because someone died or because someone, some whatever, but that'll just be the excuse to say, I got me a big screen TV, or we burned down the Wendy's or whatever. Bull crap, man, I'm telling you. And it always hurts the people in their communities. So the people don't have anywhere to go get a prescription within walking distance. Inner city, a lot of them don't have cars. They burn down the local supermarket. They empty it out. Some cases, they never rebuild in those areas. And so I'm just saying, you can't have a mob running your country or threatening your country or whatever. Take out the ringleaders and establish the law back. We have everything that, and all this invasion of all these illegals, many of them fighting age. It's a bad deal. Roski Bear, remember they thought of, yeah, I mean, when things start to, when the mob starts rolling, people just join in the mob. Set that building on fire, take it over, steal. Anybody gets in your way, we'll just take them over by extreme force. Sheer numbers. We are not ruled by, this is, by the way, it's, it's not a democracy. It's a constitutional republic. This is not the rule of the many. Just because Democrats seem to forget that. They always talk about democracy. They always talk about the majority. It's not the way we're set up. It's not the way we're set up. We elect people to lead us. If they do that illegally or fraudulently, then put them on, adopt them and put them on trial, and vote them back out. If you, at the very least. And yeah, well, there may be a lot of people that need to be put on trial. I'll be honest with you. The one thing that we will agree on this morning is that I do not want the president involved in this mess. And he seems to be getting more and more involved. I've spoke against it. I don't want us to be the food suppliers in Gaza. I don't want us to be the real estate agent. I want to leave it alone. I don't want nothing to do with that. It's an ugly mess, and it's getting uglier. We would agree on. Now, to what extent, whatever, but again, let's do things. And again, if there's laws that need to be changed or corrected or whatever, let's work to do that. But a mob only does what a mob knows what to do, and that's to destroy. Do we really want to see the mob storm the White House and just burn it down to the ground? At that point, our country is lost. I'm not for that. You're right, Broski Bear. Oops. Put that back up, because that's exactly what that is. They love to throw that turnaround, but they don't even really mean that. It's just a means to an end. It's a talking point to sound good, to encourage, like, oh, we're on the side of right. We're defending democracy. No, you're not. You're encouraging chaos and destruction. They absolutely, they know they could go to jail if they say it in certain ways. So they say it in ways, but the left is encouraging what you're talking about. Excuse me. Being inside them hospitals, man, there's something in there. Just not just a jerk. I coughed and everything last night in that weight room. Ugh. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, brother. I'm sorry. We're gonna be opposed on this, and I know we are standing apart on many things. Again, you have the right to feel the way you want. That's freedom. Doesn't mean I have to agree with it. I have the freedom to oppose that. So I get where you're standing. I oppose it. Lots of things in the news. We're only touching on a few of them. In a few minutes, we'll be switching over to the Southern Fried Morning Show with Rob. We'll be ending this so I can get switched over and help set that up. Well, Spartan is for, well, he just said it. What did he say? Burn the White House down. He would be happy. I'm not for that. He's for the college takeovers by the Gazan mob, defenders of Gaza. We just disagree. Mobs only do what mobs can do, and that's to tear down and destroy. I'm not for that. I'm not for that. I'll give you another example, and there are many people, and I got friends that say, well, the comments are there. I'm just throwing it out there. Brodsky can read them in the comments. I don't know if he can see your comment. He might not can see them. I don't know where you're coming from. I'm sorry, because he's coming in from YouTube. I'm sorry, you may not see those comments. But I understand I get what you're saying. We just disagree. On our original talk, Brodsky, was about the continued takeover of college campuses by those who are opposed to what's happening in Gaza. My original, what I said is that we cannot allow these people to do this. They are destroying property. They are threatening people. I'm sure they're taking things. Can't allow it. Just can't allow it. But anyway, we just disagree. It's not anything new. Not anything new. But see, me and you can talk. Okay, I'll put it on screen. This is Brodsky Barry. We disagree. I understand, Brodsky. I'm sorry. StreamYard doesn't always show the other things that and it's weird because I bounce around comments and sometimes people are kind of lost. So me and Spark just disagree on certain things. But me and him having an understanding. He's not to go too far. Don't push Rob. Rob will kick you. I try not to do that. We have an exchange of ideas. Oh, sorry. Sometimes we're talking. That's why I try to put many things on the screen. And I forgot this morning as I was in that. Sometimes those don't cross over like that. Rob forgets that. He'll talk in chat, and I try to pop the comments up. Unless it's something I don't want on screen. But we had a long. I get it, brother. I get it. There are things we can agree on. The original. Go back, young man. We actually started off just talking about politicians and the rich. Oh. Started off with this. We progressed to this. We progressed to that. Then Brodsky Bear arrived. We both agree on this. Oh. I don't agree with this. But I get you. But yeah, you have that right. But anyway, I like that. I like that we have a discussion. And yes, I agree with that. But we just, again, I'm just opposed to the escalation of that. So we always have interesting discussions. And he is a citizen of both Poland and the United States. Goes back and forth. I believe is what you told me. So anyway, and there's a few other things. I am running out of time, but I appreciate. Oh, I'm going to shut this stream down. We'll bring back the other one up in just a few moments. Let me get over and help Rob get that up. I've got it ready to roll. It's Dave in the AM with the Patriot Morning Show, which I usually just do that one. My wife has been have fell at a restaurant. It knocked her out. She's been in the hospital. I'm going back up to be with her. I'm hoping to get her out today or tomorrow, but don't know that yet. She is getting better. She looks like she's been in a massive car wreck. It's really pitiful. Trying to figure out what was going on. So anyway, I'll pray for her, if you pray. So Spartan says, in the end, wars, unfortunately, people who are moral and fertile. Spartan, we always have interesting discussion, yes. All right, our show is brought to you by Patriot Mobile. I talked to those folks yesterday. I love those folks at Patriot Mobile. We had a good chuckle about our promo code Cornbread. They are awesome, helping us get my business phone set up. That's this phone right here. And we got it all set up for the business. And they're awesome. Support Patriot Mobile. All right, well, come back and be with us. The new channel will be going up in just a few. And we will see you over there. We'll go out with some music. We'll start getting the other channel up. Rob's probably confused this morning. He's like, there's 2 lives. He usually comes in about this time, so we'll see you in a minute. Oh, that's not the one. That's the one.